Kodiak Copper's MPD project is located in south central British Columbia. It's an area that I'm familiar with the rocks from because I used to work at the Mount Poly mine when I was a younger geologist, a project geologist with Imperial Metals. And the Mount Poly mine and our MPD project are both in what's known as the Quesnel Belt of British Columbia. And the Quesnel Belt is known for hosting a number of predominantly alkalic porphyry deposits. We've actually found higher grade potassic mineralization right to surface in some of the zones that we're drilling. And we've also found this big discovery that we call the gate zone, which was that area, that first area, where we were looking for that higher temperature mineralization. So now Kodiak has to get the message out to people that we have at the moment, it's 7 different porphyry zones that we've discovered or are working on. And we see a combination there of the sort of the larger lower grade copper systems and these cores of higher grade mineralization. And we had some really exciting results over the last few years where it's a combination of really deep holes to show the size of the system, and in some cases where the grade is not at surface, and recently some holes in the 2023-2024 program where we have high grade mineralization in these zones that goes right up to the bedrock surface. So that's the Kodiak story in a nutshell. It's a multi-porphyry center project. There's a lot of infrastructure in this area. It was another parallel that we had with the Great Bear story, was that when you go looking for a project, if you can find the project in an area that's already got power lines and road access and other infrastructure to accommodate people, ultimately your chances of having an economic discovery are going to be so much higher. It's a big factor behind Great Bear's success, and it's going to be a big factor when we think about Kodiak's potential over the long term too. Copper Mountain was purchased by Hudbay recently. It was a pretty big ticket item on the Hudbay side. But what we see here is the same generation. At the MPD project, we have the same generation of intrusions that caused the mineralization at Copper Mountain. It's very important for us. Our intrusions are going to be the same age, same type, and you end up with a system like if you look at Copper Mountain with multiple porphyry centers that are in close proximity, and they've been developed in a series of pits. So you have strong similarities to that. Kodiak is drilling, and what we've been doing is testing a number of different targets across the project because it became obvious when we found the gate zone that there was the potential to make a whole other series of discoveries here. And so for the last 5 years, we've drilled the gate zone and we've drilled a number of other porphyry systems across the project. And the focus has been shifting over time from just seeing what the total capacity of the system is to really focusing now in the 2024 program on near surface higher grade mineralization. So what we want to see is that 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 1% copper that we're seeing over different interval lengths, but it goes right up to that surface. And that's going to be important for the future because anybody that thinks about putting a copper mine together, it's really helpful to have that grade concentrated in the near surface so that you can quickly pay back some of the work. And we're not at that stage yet. We're not talking about feasibility. We're not even resource yet. This is still earlier stage, but those are steps that the company will be considering in the relatively near future. I think one of the really good benefits of working in porphyries is that they tend to be fairly predictable. And I've worked on a number of gold systems. It's what people are going to know me for mostly. But I've drilled a lot of porphyries over my time. And if you think about that nested doll theory or zonation model that really works well in porphyries, where you have a high temperature core and a lower temperature, lower grade halo, that predictability of porphyry systems has been something that we've used to our advantage here at Kodiak and the MPD project to really vector into areas where we have good grade. And so I'd say that's one of the main advantages of working in copper porphyries is that these systems are pretty well understood, and they tend to be mappable project to project to project across the globe and through time. And that means that when you see a certain type of rock, you know where to follow up to get the better grades. And that's something that Kodiak, if you look at the drill results that we've had from 2022, 2023, now 2024, you can see when we get into the middle of these systems and you start seeing the 0.4%, 0.5% copper right up to surface. And this is because we're figuring out where these systems go and where the grade is concentrated within them.